Can I request Mr. Jasjit Sethi to give his thoughts, please?
Thank you, Sridhar. Very good deliberations so far. I think the larger point what I am trying to, understand out here is that mostly we talk about manufacturing. We talk about the four for plant. And when we talk about, industry 4.0, it is more digital. It's not only the physical part, but the digital part as well. So supply chain comes into play in a very major way. So Industry 4.0 and by its extension, Supply Chain 4.0 is something which actually is done starting from the raw material to the tier 2 supplier to the tier 1 to the OEM. Because whatever you're going to predict to make after 1 week, that needs to be also planned with regard to your supply chain. The example of the semiconductor shortage tells us that we actually do not see until we see it because we are not having a glass pipeline of from the raw material onwards that where we would be given these scenarios. So before we come to AI and ML, the basic part of forecasting, which is forecasting as per the Gartner covers three parts. One is what happened. Second is why it happened. Third is why what will happen. And the fourth part, as Mr. Lal also alluded to, is how we can make it happen. That's the example of Netflix suggesting you kya karna kya aage, what you do to watch. That's making you prescriptive actually. So currently, in terms of analytical, I think we are probably at what happened and not even why it happened. Forget about the prediction part of it. So I think the first part of any industry 4.0 would revolve around making that supply chain from the cradle, which is from the raw material, till the plant, with a forecast showing that what are the cause and effect of each of the components, which can impact production if production were to be normal, if it were to go down by 30-40%, if it were to go up. And not only your own company, but other companies as well. Today, I feel that kind of visibility from that level is missing. Hence, what happens is that we are not able to optimize our plants and our raw material also. And many times we are working on a basis of what actually we can do post a situation. The second point I think is that the need to drive technology, the thought, what we need to do, and how we need to do it. We make a framework, and that should drive technology. Sometimes the tail wags the dog, but that's not a desired situation. It should be the need deciding what technology we should use, and not the other way around. Uh, so this is something which I think we who are the non-tech people also have a far better role to play than the tech people. We know कि हमें कराना क्या है, हम चाहते क्या हैं, and this is that the right text needs to come in, and it can come in from basic things like process automation. It can come from algorithms. Then go to these machine learnings, which keeps those data live and goes to an AI. That what can happen. So this process needs to be done, and we are still very far behind. We still haven't come to a industry 4.0. This was talked about exactly 10 years ago in Germany, and we're talking about AI. So sometimes we are probably chasing a rainbow on this. Uh, the last point is going to leave the audience here with is that how would they do it if they were making a new plant today? The only new plant coming in India in the recent times is probably the plant of Ola. How are they doing it differently versus how we have done it? Sometimes when we already have a historical location, traditional infrastructure, and processes, for us to change that is very difficult. So Tesla was not the first car to make electric car. They were Nissan Leaf had come in, but Tesla changed the way it was done. So when we talk about data is a new gold, is in industry 4.0 will be able to done the same plants, or we need to look at probably having a completely new idea and having new kind of plants to work along with that to actually harness the power of this technology, because the VUCA world, like somebody mentioned during of COVID, so that VUCA world has been there for 10 years now. COVID was a very severe case of VUCA. You would either have a VUCA for demand or you would have it for manufacturing. that would continue. So probably prediction as prescription is the way forward, and we need to look at designing the physical networks also to be in sync with the digital networks. The last part I want to just leave here with is that there is now a need to have a control tower in all the manufacturing, which take trace supply from the raw material till the point of coming to the OEM, because these legs, besides the first leg of the tier 1 to the plant, is very much opaque to the OEM. They do not know what is happening in the tier 1's plant also. Forget about tier 2 and the raw material. So this is something which, as a information with data flowing today, is probably, I would say, the need of the hour, because AI, ML, and Industry 4.0 would not be played in the four walls of a plant, but much on a global arena, as you know, in the semiconductor one. So thank you very much uh, for giving me the opportunity to talk about this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Some very new points there as well, and I think that they're worth pondering as well.